everyone! If you don't know me, my name's Morgan Malcolm, and this is my channel, Love Where You Live. So today we're going to be showing you how to remove a toilet. So sometimes, toilets break, or you're redoing your bathroom and you want a new toilet in there, or today I am removing wood floor that is under the toilet, so I'm going to be taking it off so that I can get that floor out, put the new one down, and then we'll replace the toilet. So it's actually simpler than you think, and definitely not as scary. So I'm going to show you all the steps, and this will be great. All right, so here is the toilet. So the first step is you're going to want to see your water shut off. Now, each toilet has their own. This one is different than one as I've seen before because it's a pull out. So you just pull it out. Now this stops the water from coming to the toilet. So the next step you're going to want to do is we're going to take off the top here. And we're going to set that down. And now we're going to be flushing the water until everything is empty. So keep flushing it. We want to have no or as little water in here as possible. I'm going to do it again. Now, unless you bring, tools and stuff, you can't really quite get all of the water out unless you've had this sit for a while. But for the most part, the water is pretty well out. Okay, so I use a plunger to get as much of the water out of the toilet bowl as possible, and there's going to be some water leaking, so I have towels ready to go. So we've turned off the water, gotten as much out as we can. Here's going to be the next part, is removing the water line from the toilet. So I'm putting down a blanket underneath here to catch some of that water, because no matter what, it's going to leak a little bit. And then here goes this part. Okay. No, didn't really leak at all. So now we just leave that there. The next part is going to be taking off this cap here. So this just comes off, and then you have your bolts here. Make sure you keep all of these pieces together because you're going to need them to put it back together. And then we go to the other side, and we're going to do it again. So what you want to do next is run a razor blade along the bottom of the toilet because there is usually caulking under there. This had clear caulking and it prevented you from just picking the toilet up. So go ahead and run a razor blade along there to loosen that so that you can get the toilet off easier. And then make sure you're lifting from the base of the toilet. You can see where my hands are. If you grab that back part that sticks up, that can come off. It's held on with some bolts, but you don't want to do that. And then you can see the drain is left. So we removed the old wax ring, which are disgusting. So you want to clean that off, and then we put in the new bolts there. This is a new device, so this blue one is going to replace the wax ring. This is a spacer in case you need a spacer. And this is the brand that we are using. So it says better than wax. So you don't have to use any wax with this, and we got it at Home Depot. Now, since our floor is level with the drain there, all we had to use was the blue one. If it wasn't, you would just use the spacer. So you just set that onto those bolts, and then you're going to bring the toilet in and line it up as best as you can. But the great thing about this new blue device that we're using instead of a wax ring is you can actually move the toilet around. So with the wax rings, you had basically one shot to line up those bolts to the toilet and set it down directly on top of that wax ring, because if you moved it, you broke the seal and it would leak. So with this, you can actually move the toilet around and get those bolts in as you're going instead of having to really be precise with it. So it was actually wonderful. This was the first time I've ever used it, and I will use it always at this point. The wax just gets everywhere and it's gross, and this is just much cleaner. You can see all the sawdust on there, so that reminds me. The wood floor underneath here is new, and we installed that. If you'd like to see that, make sure you've subscribed to my channel and hit that notification bell, because I will put that video up hopefully soon. I am editing it at the moment. So you can see there I just lined up that other bolt, and now we are just replacing all of the hardware on here. So that was why it was important to keep this nearby and handy and not to throw it away, because it goes with this toilet. If you get a new one, then you'll get new hardware for that one. But replacing that hardware and then the bolts back on just how we had taken it off. I'm going to tighten this by hand as much as possible before using tools. I find it easier, but do whatever works best for you. So again, if you want to see how we installed that quick connect floor that's underneath this toilet, which is why we removed it, go ahead and subscribe, and I will put that video up hopefully soon, and you can go ahead and see all of that. I am also going to be uploading a whole bunch of videos on tips for moving, because that's what I just did. So here I am continuing to tighten that down. Now you want to make sure that it is on there tight, but not too tight, because you can crack the toilets. They're porcelain, so you can crack it if you crank it too much. I do like using my hand a lot more because it doesn't make it too tight, and then at the very end just making sure it's on pretty good a couple of times with a wrench, and you should be good. And as soon as all of that is on, you just replace the cap. So here I am tightening it still. You want to kind of keep that washer, and that white part is what that cap connects to. You want to try to keep those lined up so you could see before I was holding it down, but just before you're done, make sure those are lined up so that you can get everything back on correctly. And here I'm tightening, a little more. All right. Now I'm checking it to make sure it's not too tight and the toilet's not moving, so it's on. I feel like that's pretty good. I believe I'm going to put the cap back on. There's that water line, so I'm just moving that to the other side so it's out of the way. And you just have to move this around to click it in, but I'm not going to mess with it at this point. So then you do the same thing to the other side. You can see the caps on that one. I'm going to now start putting everything back together. So what you want to do before finishing everything up is just stand up and take a look at the toilet and make sure it is straight, because you can put it in crooked. So just straighten it out here. I am going to just adjust it a tiny bit, and now it is straight, so I can connect that water line back on. Now this one just twists on, so it's real simple. You want to just twist it all the way on, make sure it's nice and secure. And then we are finishing up the toilet install. So let me know below what you think of not using a wax ring. I thought it was amazing. I haven't had any leaking or any problems with it since we've installed these, but let me know if you prefer a wax ring over this new plastic stopper. And yeah, make sure that you leave comments, and if you like the video, hit that thumbs up, and make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. So I'm just going to turn that water back on here. So mine was a push. If yours was a twist or a turn knob, you just turn it. Now you're going to want to make sure you fill up the toilet and let it flush once or twice and make sure there's no leaks. But that's about it. All right, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. All right, bye.